Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. So with everything that is happening on the front lines when it comes to the whole Epstein file debacle, the arguments, the debates, the people saying we don't trust Trump anymore and we don't support him, people falling off the Trump train. Look, I'm standing with Trump to the very end. Look, do I agree how the Epstein files are being handled? No, not at all. But everything else, 99.999% of the stuff that Trump has done are amazing. I voted for Trump. I'll vote for him again if I have to. But behind the scenes, the FBI and the DOJ are on the move, ladies and gentlemen. What we learned today is the biggest criminal investigation in our government history has been launched by Trump's FBI and DOJ into the Democrat Party. You heard me right. The biggest criminal investigation into America's government has been launched by Trump's DOJ and FBI in American history. On top of that, today is exactly, 1 year anniversary since Trump was almost assassinated, right? 1 year and 1 day. And Trump spoke on that today. But did you know we're sending more arms to the Ukraine? And Steve Bannon gives us some insights on that. Do me a huge favor, ladies and gentlemen, before I show you what's happening. This investigation just unraveled massively. On top of that, a whistleblower has come forward, somebody that worked for the Biden administration, and say Biden did not sign those pardons himself. Boom, we now have someone that was there, that witnessed it, and is trying to get a good deal and doesn't want to go down with the ship. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from today? And really quickly, before we continue, the sponsor of today's live broadcast and the channel overall, Verity Metals. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real money. Silver, gold, platinum, American Silver Eagles. This is constitutional money. This is real in your hands assets. Now, when it comes to Verity Metals, why do I promote them? They're patriots. They're people of faith. It is not a huge call center. It is family owned. You speak to the owner every single time you call. They're located here at Glendale, Arizona. You can go in, meet the entire family that owns the company, meet the owners, and actually see what you're getting before you buy it. IRAs, 401ks, and everything in between, gold, silver, platinum, they have you covered. Call 888-328-6105. Tell them that Vlad sent you. Get free silver on your next qualifying order. Simple as that. Links are down below in the description. Thank you. Let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some big stuff to cover on this show. So first things first. We're going to look at this, and this is the massive bombshell, and we're going to build off this. FBI opens investigation into decade of Democrat Party antics and misconduct, opening door for appointment of special prosecutor. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. As we all know, right? James Comey and the other guy, the former CIA director under Obama. As of a week ago today, exactly, formal criminal investigations have been launched into them for the fake Russia collusion and crossfire hurricane. The FBI, under the direction of Director Kash Patel, is opening an investigation into a decade of Democrat Party antics and misconduct. According to Just the News, the investigation has been ongoing for several weeks now. The investigations are looking back at Hillary Clinton's illegal homebrew server. The investigation is expected to reveal credible information of wrongdoing ignored by the FBI. Recall that according to the FBI in November of 2016, the Bureau found thousands of potentially relevant messages, including messages sent to and from Clinton herself while she was Secretary of State. But the FBI reportedly found most of those emails to be personal messages or ones they had already seen. The FBI was protecting Hillary Clinton before the 2016 election. We also know that the FBI was considering charging Hillary Clinton under the Espionage Act until the DOJ told them no. What is also interesting is that Jim Comey knew Attorney General Jeff Sessions was going to recuse himself from the DOJ witch hunt into Donald Trump in the Crossfire Hurricane scandal in his first week in office. Just the news reports it like this. The first piece of evidence is a classified annex to a years-old Inspector General probe of Hillary Clinton's improper email server sought by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. That annex is believed to show that credible information about possible wrongdoing was intentionally ignored by the FBI. The second tranche of evidence was identified by former Russiagate special counsel John Durham in his final report. The evidence was dubbed in the report as the Clinton Plan Intelligence, and it was also placed in a classified annex kept from the American public and even many members of Congress. Excerpts from the publicly available and unclassified Durham report show that the United States spy agencies were aware that Clinton's 2016 campaign was consulting a bogus Russia collusion narrative to harm Trump's election chances before the FBI opened its now discredited Crossfire Hurricane probe, in part using evidence created by the Clinton campaign or offered by Clinton associates. Maybe this time the DOJ and FBI will actually perform an honest investigation after years of dishonesty. Better late than never. Before we move on to the next part, here's what I think of this. I agree. Better late than never. We were lied to. For 4 years while Trump was president the first time, every single night on the news, we were told by Adam Shifty Schiff and many others, Trump works for Putin. Trump is an asset of Russia. Russia. But it was all made up. It was all phony. As the Democrats like to say, it was misinformation and disinformation. It was deep fakes. See, and here's the thing. They thought they got away with it. When they pulled off 2020, and to a degree, I blame the faceless conspiracy theorist that posts their drops on a Japanese meme/pornography website, because I know a lot of people who trusted the plan and didn't vote. See the difference between 2020 and 2024? We made it too big to rig because nobody sat home. What they did in 2020, they tried to do in 2024, but we made it too big to rig. We made it so big that no matter how much ballot stuffing or dead people voting, they couldn't beat us. We came out and showed them that the will of the American people is unbreakable. We learned our lesson. We came out in numbers. But I blame the faceless voices on Japanese websites that tell you to just the plan. Grab your popcorn. Oh. Research Operation Trust. Intel agencies have been doing this for decades. Well, now we're about to really catch them. And it's not just a conspiracy theory. We're actually seeing real investigations into real bad guys. Finally, we might actually see somebody besides Donald Trump get arrested. See, we were told we're going to see arrests. All the bad guys are going to be arrested. Yeah. Trust the plan, bro. Except the only one who was actually arrested was my president on made-up, bogus charges. We're moving on, ladies and gentlemen, because this is getting deeper. Before I take you to the story, I want to show you this. Donald Trump commented earlier today about, when he was almost taken from us.
What was going through your mind this morning, Mr. President, as you woke up?
The sound gets better.
Will you repeat that question? On this one-year anniversary of Butler, What was going through your mind this morning when you woke up? I know that you're praising God you're alive, but a lot of people want to know how you're taking this day on this one-year anniversary.
God was protecting me. Maybe because God wanted to see our country do better or do really well, make America great again. But God was protecting me, Brian. I'll tell you, it's the more you think about it, the more you see it. But no, I don't like to think about it much. You know, I have a job to do, so I don't like to think about it much. It's a little bit of a dangerous profession being president, but I really don't like to think about it too much. I think you're better off not thinking about it.
And you were able to accomplish 20 promises so far.
Yeah, I think we've more than delivered. Thank you for saying that. But, you know, we made a lot of promises, and we've actually given a lot more promises than we even made.
Yeah.
And you add on that a tremendous success with the strike that we had, getting rid of nuclear weapons in Iran. That was a big, big strike.
You know what I love is that he's thanking God. My president is thanking the Lord Jesus Christ for saving him, for delivering him. For that day, you know, it was a miracle, and we all saw a miracle happen in front of us. And guess what? There's two conspiracy theories revolving Trump assassination attempt. There's the liberal, Trump faked it. Oh, he just did it. You know, Trump fakes everything. He didn't get shot. And then there's the faceless voice on a Japanese porn website. Yeah, Trump didn't really get shot. It was all predicted. Guess what? But he's not thanking the conspiracy theory voices or anyone else but the Lord Jesus Christ. If you want to pay attention to Trump's drops, pay attention to how much he talks about God. He talks about God more than anything else. Because he understands, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and without him, I am nothing. I am zero. I am nothing. I am broke. I am down. I am dead. I am lost. I'm depressed. I'm nothing. That's why I love Trump. But let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. We got some big things breaking. Woo, this one's a big one. This came out last night. Dr. Fauci's pardon confirmed to have been done by the autopen and received a late night approval from a White House aide, not Joe Biden, an aide. Per the New York Times, Biden pardons are illegitimate and must be overturned. Here's what we know. At January 19th meeting, which took place in the yellow oval room of the White House residence, Mr. Biden kept his aides until nearly 10 p.m. Wow. He's usually in bed with a sippy cup and drinking milk and listening to lullabies by 3:30, but he was up till 10 p.m. to talk through such decisions, according to people familiar with the matter. The emails show that an aide to Mr. Siskel sent a draft summary of Mr. Biden's decisions at that meeting to an assistant to Mr. Zients. Applying Mr. Siskel at 10:03 p.m. The assistant forwarded it to Mr. Reed and Mr. Zients, asking for their approval, and then sent a final version to Ms. Friedman, copying many meeting participants and aides. At 10:28 p.m., 3 minutes later, Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of the autopen for the execution of all the following pardons. Do you see that? An aide approved all the pardons and they admit it. And these are no longer, how do you call it? It is no longer a what's called a conspiracy. It is no longer just, someone, an unnamed source. We know exactly who's talking. And I'm putting these, boom, there we go. Where's the other one? We're getting rid of these guys. Boom. There we go. Hey, send me $1,000. I'll bless you right now. Send me $1,000. So now we have aides from the Biden administration, from the Biden administration, who are coming forward and saying, guess what? I'm willing to testify. Here's my name. Here's what happened. Here's the dates. Here's the timelines. But ladies and gentlemen, it gets bigger. Check this out. We're going back. Biden's pardons on the January 6th committee were signed by the autopen at the direction of an assistant. So Dr. Ouchie Fauci, his pardon was signed because an assistant said, signed the pardon. Same with these guys. See, 3 minutes later, Mr. Zients hit reply all and wrote, I approve the use of the autopen for execution for all of the following pardons. All these people, they need to go to prison. They all need to be in prison. All of these. All of these. But we have one more story to talk about, and it's, I don't like, this is one thing I did not vote for. Donald Trump today approved long-range missiles to Ukraine. Yes, Europe is paying. We're not giving them for free. But do you think when one of these long-range missiles hit an apartment block in downtown Moscow and kill a bunch of civilians, do you think the Russians are going to care that we sold it to Europe and then Europe gave it to Ukraine? When it's going to be American weapons used to hit deep inside St. Petersburg, Zaporozhye, or like any other Russian cities, do you think the Russian citizens or the Russian president is going to care that we sold it to Europe and Europe gave it to Russia? They're not going to care. They're going to see American weapons. I want to play this clip.
He announced in 50 days there'll be, I think, additional tariffs on Russia, although we don't purchase a lot from Russia. The EU does because of the natural gas. But he said secondary sanctions. Secondary sanctions, we get any trading part. That would be the Chinese Communist Party. So we got to work through this after the show. Is he saying he's going to put 100% tariff on the CCP who trade for them? That's all going to be worked out. President Trump did sound like all of a sudden, he kept saying, this is not Trump's war. This is not Trump's war. He's absolutely correct. This is one of the things we've on the show said over and over again. This is not Trump's war. That's why you got to either get in there, try to make a deal. If you can't make a deal, just cut bait. Because if you go down this path, you may say it's not Trump's war, and it hasn't been up till now. But you get into the sense of even if you're selling them, you know, if a Russian mother and father to know that their kid was killed on a battlefield with American weaponries are going to miss the nuance that NATO bought it and the Americans didn't give it. If a offensive,
I think we need to be out of this war completely. Say it's not a fight. No, we're not going to give them anything. But ladies and gentlemen, as I'm covering this and we're going live, we have breaking news. We're jumping onto this final story. This just happened right now. Biden lawyers up after a long time. Personal attorney Bob Bauer quits amid the autopen scandal. So the autopen scandal broke last night, and Joe Biden's longtime attorney just left. Faith J, talk about what happened yesterday. I really don't get it. I see your comment. Oh yeah, I covered it. I don't believe that truth. Yes, I made a video on this yesterday. Trump made a video and said the Epstein files are fake. It's not real. It was all made up by the Democrats to deceive you. Gasoline Waters or Maxine, whatever, the one that's doing a 20-year prison sentence, came out this morning and said, bring me in front of Congress under oath and I'll testify and I'll tell you that no, the Democrats did not make up that there's a client list and a flight log. I will tell you under oath, I'll testify, I'll spill the beans on everything. She said there is a client list. There are videotapes. He did blackmail people. I will testify under oath. I believe Scam Blondie is feeding Trump false information. I think Scam Blondie is lying to my president, Donald Trump. That's what I think is going on. Yes, I covered Trump's really, really long truth where he's saying, look, there is no client list. It's all fake. The Democrats made it up just like they made up Russia. I don't know. Pam Bondi a month ago told us the client list is on her desk. She told us that there are thousands of hours of video footage of Epstein hurting kids. Now she says it doesn't exist. Scam Blondie is going to go down as one of the worst attorney generals ever. She has spent more time on Fox News than holding press conferences and answering questions to the American people. She was invited to speak at Charlie Kirk's event, and she was supposed to be there. She didn't show up because she knew of the questions she would receive. Here, want to know what a scammer looks like? I'll show you right here. You guys want to know? Where is it? Come on. Hold on. I showed this on the other show. Where was it? With Jeff. Come on. Where I had the picture where she's hanging out with Jeff Bush. Who's seen the picture of Pam Bondi hanging out with Jeff Bush? Big smiles, hugs. Yeah. Here we go. If you're a MAGA, you're not happy around these scammers. Yeah. So I think she's feeding BS to Donald Trump. So let's continue this news story. Well, yeah, Trump likes her, but Trump also liked Mike Pence, Mike Pompeo. Where are those two traitors today? Mike Pompeo didn't even endorse Trump for 2024 until it was like already you could see there's no way Trump's not winning this election. Then he came to, but before that, yeah, come on. Joe Biden hired a new lawyer after his longtime personal attorney, Bob Bauer, quit among growing autopen scandal. Joe Biden defended the use of an autopen in an interview with the New York Times. The New York Times also reviewed some of the emails that the National Archives handed over to the Trump DOJ as part of their investigation into the autopen scandal. It was revealed that Joe Biden did not approve of each name for the pardons. And after changes were made about the specific inmates, Biden did not sign off on the revised list. Rather, his aides just ran the final version through the autopen without Biden's approval. Their ship is going down. Their ship is going down. Let me address this. Hold on. You know what's going to divide MAGA? Is if we become cultish like Democrats. Whatever the leadership tells their base, they're like sheep. Yes, vote for Biden. He's mentally great. He's doing backflips back there. Yes, he is. Even though their eyes are telling them no. So then they vote for him in a primary. He wins. And then Trump destroys him on the stage and they say, no, don't believe it anymore. We need someone else. And then instead of holding a primary, they just install Kamala Harris. And they're like, yes, they don't question anything. What makes MAGA great is we have former Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, who, when it comes to the abortion, see things differently. When it comes to the war in Ukraine, see things differently. When it comes to immigration, we see things differently. And we can come together. We can disagree on stuff. We can criticize each other. That's what makes our party amazing and great, is we are not a cult where we're just like sheep. Yes, 2 months ago, the Epstein client list was on your desk? Yes, like little sheep. Wait. There is no client list? Oh, yeah. And just be like stupid little sheep. We're not going to do that. We're not going to be like that. It's okay to disagree. Today, what Trump did for Ukraine, I disagree 100%. Am I dividing MAGA by disagreeing that we shouldn't be arming Ukraine? I'm not dividing MAGA. MAGA is Make America Great Again, not Ukraine great again. I don't see how funding Ukraine is in the interest of the United States at all. At all. So it's okay to be different. It's okay to be critical. That's what makes our party great, because we actually think for ourselves. I still support Trump 100% of the way. I registered almost 500 brand new voters for him in the 2024 election. And it's funny how people come and tell me, Vlad, oh, you shouldn't ask questions. No. We need to ask questions. That's what makes our country great. Asking questions is we're going to grow as individuals and as a party. I'm actually the one who, when people are like, I don't support Trump anymore because of the Epstein files, I tell them, you're dumb. So you love 99.999% of the stuff that Donald Trump did. There's one thing you don't like and you don't support him all of a sudden? Are you a liberal cupcake? Come on. Trump received almost $250 million from AIPAC since he won the election and got into office. I don't like that. And it's okay to say that I don't like that. When I went to Mar-a-Lago for dinner, right after Trump won, when was it? December 10th. At the opening, they only sang the national anthem once. They spent 7 minutes praying for America. And then the next 40 minutes was spent praising Israel and blessing Israel and singing Israeli songs and flying Israeli flags. I don't like that, because the event was called America's Greatness, but we spent 40 out of the 47 minutes worshiping Israel. I don't like that. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. It's totally okay to disagree with some stuff. And hey, if you want to be a sheep, be a sheep. Be just like the Democrats who don't ask questions, who don't, get involved and say, hey, I disagree with you with the whole Ukrainian thing. I disagree if, when I go to Mar-a-Lago and we spent 40 minutes out of 47 minutes, praising Israel. Why? This is America. This is not Israeli land. This is America's land. But it's okay. Guess what? Because Trump is a human being. Why does he say, pray for me? Why does he say we need to trust God? Why does he praise God for the fact that he's alive? Because the source of wisdom, the source of Trump's wisdom and his presidency is all because of God, not humans. We'll see. But if it was made up, and I did cover this last night, if it's true that it's the Democrats who created the fake Epstein files, release it. There's got to be evidence. Let's see it. And I think we will see it if that's the truth. We will see it. It will come out in time. Until then, Pam Bondi, I believe, and I agree with Tucker Carlson, and I agree with the War Room, right? And Steve Bannon. Pam Bondi is either lying to us or she's lying to Trump, because she has flip-flopped more than a yo-yo on this issue. She really has. With that being said, God bless you. See you guys soon. Stay blessed.